Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is AEW Uncensored Podcast. Me and Alan. Not going to go through all the normal things we do. Just want to start off the podcast by showing love for John Huber, aka Brodie Lee, who we found out passed away yesterday, which is fucking brutal to hear. Um, he's younger than me and Alan both. I am only a year older than him. Alan, I'm not sure about you. What, 3 years or so, 4 years?
Yeah, I'm 46, so
Um,
even like 5
yeah,
years older than him.
I'm I'm being generous to you.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's that was rough to hear because we're big fans on the show of Brodie Lee and the Dark Order and all that. What's up, Simon? Kenny?
So, guys,
Kenny says R.I.P. Mr. Huber. Um, I don't know. When I heard that, it was just like took me by surprise. We had heard he was injured. I believe he had mentioned he was injured after the match with Cody, and he had
yeah,
mentioned that on the unrestricted AEW Unrestricted podcast. Um, so damn. I mean, we were just hoping he'd be back soon. We were kind of discussing that last week, I believe,
yeah,
and yeah, I think we I don't know if we did it on the show or if we were just talking personally, and I don't know. I'm just kind of at a loss for words because he finally seemed like he was in a place where he'd be happy. Things were going pretty good for him, uh, and Jesus, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I really am. He like everything I've heard of from him, like, cause listen, I don't know his WWE work really. I know of him from there. I thought he looked good. He had a good look and stuff. Um, I've seen little bits of him. I didn't know really anything about his personal life. However, when he came to AEW, had a bunch of interviews, and you really got to know who he was, and um, you could tell he loved wrestling. He loved his family. It was so hard to read a lot of his stuff going around on Twitter from all his friends that he worked with and that he met, his wife, her Instagram post. I just, oof, just so tough to read. I mean, it's hard for me even thinking like now about it and try to talk about it. Um, his two young sons, just so tough. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it except how tough it's got to be. You could tell by the amount of things being said, and you could just tell how genuine of a great guy he was. You know, um, just by reading all his old friends' statements on him and their stories. Um, he seems like one of those guys that personally you would hope that you could meet in your lifetime, and be
yeah. He
friends
he
with.
got a lot of accolades. The most touching, I think, accolades that I read was definitely from Bray Wyatt. A lot of people had been talking about that particular post. Um, like I know you had said you didn't know a lot of him from WWE. For those who don't know of him from
Hmm.
WWE, he was part of the Wyatt family. He was part of the
I knew
original
that.
Wyatt family,
Yeah,
and
that I knew.
he he was somebody who back then there was a lot of argument to get him a singles spot just because they liked what his work was, they liked him in the back, they liked his general attitude toward the business. And so there were a lot of guys in the back who were constantly saying, give this guy a singles push, put him out in his zone, let's see how he does. And he was known as Luke Harper then. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, again, this just speaks unfortunately to how little, Vince and some of the other top guys look at their own product and understand what they have. And they let him go. And he was definitely not shy about how he felt about that. I'm glad he wasn't shy about that. It was a kick in the ass that happened. I'll have to say kudos to WWE. They actually put out a couple of touching tributes to him today. In addition to putting out a post, lamenting his loss, they actually put out a video, a short video, showing some of his highlights and such. So I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing publicly. It was yeah, I think I had shared what you have on the screen there with you. I think literally I was just going through my Facebook timeline and it had been posted just now, it said. And
Right.
I shared it immediately. We were trying to get, of course, as much info as possible. It was deemed that it was a non-COVID lung issue. There really is not much post to that. We don't know whether or not something that was more related to a lung disease or something else that just wasn't brought up. Like you said, for all we know, he was injured after that dog collar match. The thing that I found odd, and I know I shared this with you after the fact, but I did read during week about the post-holiday taping. Speaking of which, I mean, Simon says they kind of need to rip up the script and make it a tribute show. It's actually not going to be a live show. What's going on the 30th is a taped show. So I don't know whether or not they're going to replace the tape show with something else. I guess we'll find out. But what I found odd and just felt out of place to me is that at the end of the taping, they had a sequence where Brodie's son, beats Kenny Omega for the title. And what they did was something that's kind of a time-honored tradition in wrestling. WWE has certainly done this a number of times for cancer-stricken children. They had it done with Daniel Bryan and with Triple H. And so I was kind of scratching my head over it because I kind of felt like it felt a little out of nowhere that they were just going to be like, all right, well, they're just going to get Brodie Lee's son to make, Omega tap out to a rear naked chokehold. Justin Robertson announced Brodie Lee Jr. as the new champion. And then I didn't think anything of it after that until this announcement. And I mean, obviously, we don't know, but the only thing we could surmise is that it was understood that what was going on with Brodie was serious. The higher ups and the talent there must have known they didn't want to publicize it. And so they did this, off camera as a tribute to the family. And yeah, and then 2 days later, here's what happened. So, it's really hard to come up with words otherwise to talk about it. It is something that was so shocking. It came out of nowhere. It's not like it's something where this isn't about a talent who overdoses or a talent who hocks up on painkillers or what happens to so many people in the business. In fact, something that really bothered me is that you see a lot of the posts on Facebook and such, and the first thing someone asks, oh, was it an overdose? Oh, was it drugs? It's sad that in this business that when somebody passes away, particularly at that young of an age, that's the first thing people think of, which is really sad that's just the nature of what people think of when they think about a wrestler dying as young as he did. And yeah, I feel for the family. I obviously feel for the company. Like we were saying, the accolades are just pouring in from everywhere, from everybody in WWE and everybody in AEW. It's just sad.
Yeah, I spent, probably a couple hours just reading Twitter.
Yeah.
And that wasn't, maybe I shouldn't have did that. I was like super emotional about it. I know it's, I didn't know him personally, but, we were invested in the Brodie Lee character. And like I said, I really got to see him as a person in some of the interviews he had done since coming on with AEW, and then seeing some videos last night, and I'm just like, Jesus, just so it's
yeah.
I mean, condolences to his wife, his kids, all his friends, people he's worked with. I can't. Oh man.
Yeah, there was not one thing that I read that felt like it was being spoken to about a coworker. None of these guys were speaking of him as a coworker. Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, Jericho, everybody was speaking of him as a friend and a brother. And the video that got me the most was, and I forgot who had posted this. I know WWE actually posted it, but I think a couple other people did too. There was a very short, like minute and 44-second video where Brodie was talking about his sons and saying how
Mm-hmm.
he's collected all of his own action figures and he's collecting all this memorabilia, and all he hopes to do is to pass it on when he's done. And
Yeah,
that was killer. Like, that was probably the most killer of everything that I saw or that I read yesterday.
definitely. I, yeah, it's hard. It's like I want to talk about. I don't want to. I don't know what words to use, and if I go too much, I just know I'm not going to be able to hold it together. Um, it's just it's weird as you get older, like I get a little more like sensitive to stuff like this because it's not
Sure.
only that he passed away, but it's also his family. You start to think about his wife, his kids, the fact that he was only 41. He had so much more life to live, and uh, like that really just that eats me up.
Yeah.
Like the older I get, the more I get sensitive to that, and it's not like it's not like he was 70, 80, 90. It's I mean he's only halfway through his life, and he was just starting to hit his stride, and oh man, I mean I don't remember how old his kids are. I believe they're under 10.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
mean that's got to be tough, and I have to think that AEW, Tony Khan, they'll take care of his family.
For sure.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
this.
But yeah, he
Oh man.
and I remember I know certainly I was, so upset after they had this whole angle with him in the Dark Order, taking out Cody and the entire Rhodes family. And we were thinking, wow, this
Hmm.
is the beginning of something big. And I remember just being so puzzled and upset when they then just, okay, he dropped. And this has to have been partly attributed to that. I mean, the fact that that was his last match. I know they said he had an injury that was back in October. Um, I mean, one would have to think that this played a role in that they knew something else was up besides the fact that he just got injured, or it's possible the injury was a cover. We don't know. We have no idea what they decided to do. They probably want to make it as private as possible for very good reason.
Right.
And but yeah, he was poised to really be that. Again, we keep using that comparison, NWO. He and the Dark Order were really poised to have that kind of status in this company, and
Yeah.
certainly just in terms of general storyline. And he was able to carry it really well. Like, you took him very seriously. There was never a
Hmm.
point where you would look at him and go, oh, this is the guy who's running Dark Order, or this is the guy who's going to be the head of this big new organization and do whatever. It's like, nah, you would see him as somebody who he had the poise where I would not have been surprised if a year from his debut, all of a sudden he was AEW champion, because he had that
Yeah.
poise and he had that stature. And even from the work that I had seen from him in WWE, where again he was really pushed to the background more than anything else, you still saw that he was very talented, and it was simply something that wasn't recognized enough there from the folks who needed to recognize it. So, yeah, it's obviously a terrible loss for his family. That's the worst part of it all, and it is a loss for the business in general. There's not a lot of guys out there like him who just have that instant star power and that instant, wow, this is somebody who's going to be huge, who's going to be able to take this company on his back, as somebody like this.
Yeah. Yeah. When you posted it, I just like my heart dropped, and then later on you had mentioned about his son being on the taping for next week
Well, it was
at
post
the end of
taping.
the taping.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, at the end of the taping, and like uh, if I had heard that prior to you showing us the post from AEW about his passing, I wouldn't have thought anything of it. Maybe just that he was visiting and they were having some fun in the ring,
Yeah.
because I know you say that WWE does this stuff, but they have done this with crowds um, after shows. I don't know if you remember. they used to just pull random kids and have them pin like Cody. So I wouldn't have thought anything of it. But if I had known, um, like more so when you told me that they had done that after the taping, after finding out about him passing, I was more inclined to think that they might have he might have passed away uh, before last night, and they just decided to hold it back privately until his wife was ready to make that announcement, or they knew he was gravely ill, leading leading into the week or whatnot. So I don't. Oh man, just either way. I mean, it's just brutal. The man was more of a legend than the wrestler, it seems.
Yeah.
If from everything I read, it's like you could only hope to have a friend come into your life like he was. So I'm not good at this. I'm literally like I the more I talk about it, I have to kind of slow down a little bit because
Me
then I
too.
start getting emotional about it. It's
Yeah, I'm kind of. I'll
just
admit, I'm trying to talk a lot about a lot of the business aspects of it, just to try to keep myself together with it. To keep it
yeah.
better perspective. Um, but yeah, it is rough. Um, and I do
Yeah.
imagine that if not this week, if they don't preempt what they had already taped, I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the year they're probably going to have some type of a tribute show for him. Something that's similar to what has been done in the past for other stars, who had passed away way before their time, or even those who had passed away at a ripe old age. I'm pretty sure we're going to see something like that in the near future for him.
Yeah, I would assume they're obviously going to do something on the next show, be it taped or not. They're going to be able to insert some stuff. Um, However, I do feel they might end up doing a more in-depth tribute to him in the coming weeks for
Yep,
sure.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. The guys have been saying some stuff in the chat. Give them their say. Don't want to. I know we usually go to them guys. They're here supporting us. And Kenny said, I seen the notification on my phone and literally just stopped what I was doing and froze out of shock. Simon says they kind of need to rip up the script for this Wednesday show and make it a tribute show. Jimmy says retire the Disket Lariat. R.I.P. Big Rig. Simon said, I think that Brodie finally got the big match on the big stage that his career deserved versus Moxley for the title. Hopefully he will rest well. Kenny says you watch these guys on your TV every week. You feel like you know them personally, and it hurts all the more when they're no longer here. 100% agree with that.
Yep.
Especially so young. Then you start to think about others that died around this age, and you didn't realize they were about this age when they passed. It's
Yeah.
some legends, some guys that have done a ton in the business. Alex Alberto G says, "What's next for Dark Order? How do they pick up the pieces?" So that's a good question. I'm not 100% sure there. Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with Dark Order, the last thing on their minds is going to be, any kind of story of how they're going to progress with it. But it's creatively, they can kind of do whatever they want with it, I guess. It's definitely not going to be the same. I mean, they can. They're kind of damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. They could just be like, well, okay, we don't want to really proceed with it at all. Or they can be like, well, no,
Right.
let's bring somebody else in who might be able to be the next Exalted One, which could be seen as an insult,
Right.
in any way.
You're
It's
always
really
gonna
hard to
have.
say.
Yeah, you're always gonna have like a a situation where you're going to compare him to Brodie Lee, or it's going to give you the thought of Brodie Lee. So I don't know that you necessarily want to go that route.
Yeah.
More so to not to not to have people feeling brutal about it emotionally, be it fans, friends, because then you're gonna know. And anytime there's a leader in Dark Order, like he was, your mind's gonna instantly think about him passing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it's almost, man, I don't even know which direction they go. I like the Dark Order gimmick personally. You know that. I know you were into it.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe they could do something. It's just a matter of what and how they do it. Because I do like it. I do think they have some key guys in the group. Obviously, have some enhancement guys and such, but um, what can they make out of it? And if it's worth making anything out of it, that's the question. And that's they're gonna have to answer that, and it's got to be something really good to continue and carry his legacy as part of Dark Order. I know Dark Order was here before him, but he really put a stamp on Dark Order
Yeah.
when he came on, and he really was, like we spoke about numerous times, putting that NWO-ish stamp on it when he took that title from Cody. Obviously, he had the injury. I'm guessing that's why he dropped the title, or could, again, like you said, the injury could have been a mask for some health issues he was having. And maybe that's why he dropped the title. But we'll never know, really, technically. You know, we will find out, I'm sure, more about his passing and how exactly down the line. I mean, usually that stuff kind of comes out. It's like you said, they did say it was non-COVID related lung issues.
Hmm.
Um, I'm wondering if maybe he had a surgery and there was an issue with that, because I know with anesthesia can do stuff like that to you.
Yep.
So, it's whew, I mean, I don't. I'm pretty much just that. I could say it the same thing over and over again. I feel like a broken record, and if I go any further, I might as well just break down and crying here. It's just pretty crazy, just
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, Simon Says could a tribute for him be the door for WWE and AEW to work together on something? I mean, you know what? I I can't see that happening, but it would be something that would be really nice if they did get together on a tribute for him. I for sure would be I would have a lot of respect for that company if they actually have that company being WWE, if they were to have a 10 bell salute for him on their next show. That's something they never do for anybody who's left a company. When you've left the company, be it on your own terms or because they asked you to leave or whatever, you don't really hear from them again until maybe years and years and years later. But I think it would be very big of them to have at least a 10 bell salute for him on Raw tomorrow night. I think that's the best thing that you can do, probably for that talent as well, because I'm sure the talent is aching to, have a remembrance of him. Besides what they've done on Twitter, it's one thing to go on Twitter and share your stories, which is actually it's one of the few things that's good about social media these days, that allows you a platform to be able to do that and to get your feelings out there. But it's something else quite entirely, I think, to be able to actually speak about somebody like this when you have a platform such as being able to be on TV and to be able to talk about your memories and such. So I would have the highest respect for them in the world if they did end up doing something like that tomorrow. I guess we'll see.
I see. I have no question that they're going to do something for him tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Where you doubt it and you say you'll have the respect for him, I have no doubt that they will do something for him on Raw. It's just, I mean, you could just see Stephanie's already had words. I didn't see if Triple H said anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I didn't see everything. We only really follow AEW on the Twitter, and that's the Twitter I use. So, um,
I mean, Vince
I
himself did
did.
post something, so there's
Right.
that.
I just saw that today. So I seen some of this stuff, and obviously, if someone retweets it from AEW, you see it. So AEW, the Twitter account was actually retweeting. They retweeted the Vince and the Stephanie McMahon one. So I was able to see those, and I did try to hit the hashtag. Um, to try to get a broader view, and some more posts, about his life and people that he impacted.
Yeah.
So
And I would love to see them even go one step further and say, like for one night only, you get the two rosters together. Like that would be something that would be really a beautiful thing, I think. If, for one night only, if in fact they do something tomorrow night on Raw, if you actually have them, bring on people from AEW, even at least talent who used to be with WWE, to be able to speak about him as well. That would be really nice if they did something like that.
I wouldn't doubt that maybe they do something,
Mm-hmm.
soon. I mean, you got to think Monday's tough to just. This just happened last night. The word just got out last night. It's tough to have, if you're going to have both rosters come to Monday Night Raw and to get something going, it might be tough to do.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? I want to think that they see the respect he had and want to give him more of a tribute than just like a 10 bell salute or moment of silence,
Yeah.
Um, you know. I don't know. You want to move on,
Sure.
or yeah? I mean, I think we covered it all. I don't, any of you guys in the chat, you want to pop in for a quick comment on it, just let us know. We'll bring you on.
Yeah, if you have like anything you'd like to share as far as, memories or just remembrances or how you felt about him, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah, so just, hit us in the Skype chat, let us know, and we'll bring you on. But we're gonna continue on with the normal show. We'll try to like get a little less I guess try to go as fast as we can here. Not in a bad way, just just maybe not touch on. We'll skip over some of the shorter details per
Mm-hmm.
se. But with Dark, the only thing I really had was the waiting room.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, you had SCU on there. They basically took control of the show. Kazarian was pissed at Daniels for them losing to the Acclaimed, and basically said that Chris Daniels kind of said he was ready to possibly hang it up, and Kaz just was saying that's not how it's going to go. We're going to go out there. We're going to get to the top again, and we are going to bring the titles back home between them. Before it was him and Sky, Kaz and Sky as champs, and he basically said we can't lose, because if we lose, we're done as a tag team, because I won't lose another match with you as my tag partner.
Yeah.
So that'll be the end of that. And what was your take on it?
So the entire time I was watching this segment, all I can think of was the barbershop from 1992 with Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that's how this was going to end, where I thought maybe Daniel, because Daniels is the one who's being read the riot act. So I kind of thought the super kick through the plate glass window, maybe through the
Right.
dentist window or whatever. Is there a problem with SCU? I don't think so. Something like that. I was almost surprised that didn't happen. I thought it was a very good segment outside of that. I like the idea of if we lose, we're done as a tag team. That reminded me a lot of like they had Ric Flair's last storyline at WWE that if he were to lose the match, he'd have to retire. That was what Vince dictated to him. So it kind of has that feel, and it's nice because it does give you a lot more investment now in the team. You're going to wonder, are they going to make it to the top, or are they actually going to lose and have to break up? If they do lose,
I think it's leading.
Yeah, if they do lose and break up, then I kind of feel like you're going to have one of them have to go heel, turn on the other. Maybe even that's what closes out a match that they're about to win, and one of them just says, fuck this, and turns on the other one. But that honestly is what I thought was going to happen during this segment, and I was partly disappointed when it didn't. But either way, it was still very enjoyable.
Yeah. I thought I think it's obviously leading to a breakup. It's just a matter of when and how. Let's see. Simon says, "Can we get a Germany update to brighten the mood, please?" Germany, we are still not. We haven't been on Germany's charts since we were on them.
I'd love to know what we said.
And we are not on the Philippines charts this week. The Philippines has abandoned us.
Oh, man.
After being very high up on those charts for the last 2 weeks. We'd have thought we'd have had the support. Kenny asks, I like what I'm seeing from Bear Country. What's your thoughts on them? I honestly haven't watched their matches. I think they've had 2 matches in 2 weeks. So, Kenny, for you, I will watch their matches coming up on next week's episode. If I might even check out this past week's match with them as well. Simon says dark. This is his dark comments. Tesha Price needs to be signed. Danny Limelight looks good too. Okay.
Yeah, actually, Tesha Price did look pretty good. Again, I didn't really take many notes on the rest of the show. I just wasn't really that into it, but I did have to watch that, and I didn't see so much of Danny Limelight, but Tesha Price I did, and she's actually not bad. And again, it's not very hard to get on the high list with the women's division in this company. So you could show an ounce of talent, and you're looking good. And she was looking pretty good. So we will see.
Yeah. Yeah, and it takes a little time for these enhancement talents, jobbers, whatever, to build their rep to get on the big stage. So
yeah,
I think you've seen it can be done, especially now. That's kind of what they're pushing for, to get some of this younger talent on the main roster.
Yeah.
So then we got Dynamite. We got Jericho and MJF versus Top Flight. For me, it was a good match. And I got to say, Darius is a really good seller.
Yeah.
I think he's 21. I think his brother's 19.
Yeah.
So, in wrestling that is just a huge deal. Selling and emoting is just such a huge deal in wrestling. And I really like how he sells already at such a young age. For me, the match was good. Everybody seemed to be doing their thing. Everybody was on point. What was your feeling off this match?
I also thought it was a very good match. I think Top Flight has a very good future. Of the two, I do actually like Darius the most for the reason that you stated, that he definitely has the selling game down. I think you're right that it's very rare for somebody that young in the business to get the selling down. I feel like that's more of a piece of the craft that you pick up as you gain more experience in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you see this all the time on, like, they used to have the shows. They used to have, NXT back before it was NXT, and all these other shows where you saw these guys, working out for the first time and getting involved and learning the moves and everything. And it feels like selling is the one thing that you never really see as a high spot from any of the talent who are involved with learning the business. And he already does have that down really, really well. So I see a lot coming from him. But overall, yeah, great match otherwise. It was nice to see them with Inner Circle in the sense that, I mean, Jericho and MJF are two at the top of the business right now, certainly on the show. To have them be able to rub elbows with this team was a really nice way to, I guess, really introduce them to the world. I mean, obviously they've been around for a bit now, but to really introduce them in terms of what they can do. So yeah, mad props otherwise for the most part.
Yeah, they got to work with a little more grounded game with Jericho and MJF, was to where with the Bucks they were a little more fast paced.
Yep.
After this, we get Jake Hager cutting a promo on Wardlow. He says TK signed a match between him and Hager. Him and Wardlow at Hager's request. I mean, I don't get it at this point. I thought you had the whole we're not going to let, all right, we'll stop staring at each other's shit. So for me, it just kind of makes no sense. You want to make the match, then you shouldn't have tried to squash it a week or two prior,
Yeah, it's kind of weird because, and again, I'm going to always knock the whole storytelling thing. The whole idea with MJF and Wardlow, and they're a package for the purposes of the Inner Circle. They're all about, let's not get into anything with MJF. Please make peace, Sammy, make peace. But this is okay. It's okay to have two members of your family have this match, and you didn't have MJF or Jericho being like coming out and saying, no, there's no reason you have to do this. We can settle this on the side. It's like, no, they're having the match. It's like, okay, I guess they're not. Right. I guess they're not important enough pieces of the Inner Circle to care about not having a family squabble.
Yeah. They're literally 6 and 7.
Right, they're 6 and 7, exactly. It's like, they want to fight. It's okay.
Kenny says it was nice showing it was a nice showing and all from Top Flight, but when you're facing the GOAT and Jericho, they had no shot. MJF 2021. Simon says Top Flight equals Rockers 2021.
I think that's SCU, honestly. I mean, that's the thing. I think what we just spoke about with SCU, I see them being the Rockers of 2021, but we'll find out.
Well, he means wrestling style.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I could see that.
Rock and Roll Express.
Mm-hmm.
Before them. And Alex Alberto says Wardlow versus Hager is an awesome match. I agree. I think that Wardlow's great. Hager, I feel, is underappreciated, and everything he's done so far in AEW, in my opinion, has been good.
Yeah, for sure.
I got no complaints.
He's come a long way since his Jack Swagger days, for the most part, in terms of his talent.
Yeah. So next up, we get an Acclaim music video going at the Bucks. They call it Buck Hunt, aka Duck Hunt, which I really dig. I just found out that Max Caster was. I didn't realize this. I found this out this week, but I know of him from what is it? The Major Wrestling Figure podcast with Brian Myers and
yes.
Matt Cardona, because they wrestle under Brian Myers in Creative Pro Wrestling. I believe, I assume he trained them, or him or Pat Buck, his partner, trained them.
Yeah.
And they've done his group, which are the Shook Crew. Max Caster's group was the Shook Crew, and he actually did a rap on their podcast. It's like one of their theme songs throughout their podcast. So I don't know how I didn't catch the voice and the delivery, but yeah, I just found out he was one of those guys from that Shook Crew group.
Okay.
Where they have a rapping gimmick. So that's cool to see him get his shine, and now he's on the big stage,
Yeah.
So they get that video. I thought it was funny. I love how they referenced the Bucks quitting Twitter because the fans hated him. I thought that was a really good shot at them, you know.
Yeah.
Simon says idea for the Dark Order. Dustin Rhodes actually brings the 7 character back and taking over. That actually would be. I don't know about the character 7, but
he hates that character. Like he legitimately hates that character. So I can't
yeah,
see him necessarily resurrecting it.
but I wouldn't mind him as the leader of Dark
neither.
Order. Now that you say that,
I agree. I think
and
that would actually be cool.
There could be foreshadowing there. Again, we don't know how long they've known what's going on with Brodie Lee.
Yeah.
AKA John Huber. So.
Yeah. I like the idea.
So after that, what? Yeah, right. What'd you think about the Acclaim video? You like it?
It was all right. I honestly am not a huge fan of the whole rapping gimmick thing. I feel like it's been done to death.
My God.
It's all right. It's okay.
I love the rapping gimmick.
Okay.
I love it. I think he comes out with great lines.
Yeah.
So I love it.
But they definitely have talent. I mean, overall, the Acclaimed as a team is really they're going to have a future. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, for sure. So then we get Sting, Shivani interviewing Sting out in the ring. Sting talks about how Dusty told him, we're going to put some color on you. We're going to put it on your face and in your gear. And then we're going to put you in with the Nature Boy, you know, and how, you know, he now gets to see Cody doing his thing in AEW. And, you know, he wanted to be a part of that. He wanted to, you know, get involved with that. So, you know, one of his reasons for being there, he did his little Dusty impersonation. I didn't know, but I heard it was well done. I heard after the show that Cody doesn't like Dusty impersonations. I wonder what he thought about it.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I didn't know that.
Oh, wow. He must hate Bruce Pritchard for more than one reason then, because Bruce Pritchard is like the best Dusty impersonation on the planet.
So then he's just about to address Darby, and the tease, of course. They do such a good job. This is like the tease with Darby. He's just about to touch on Darby, and he gets interrupted by Team Taz. Now, this is how wrestling, the actual matches used to be. It's the tease of the babyface winning, but always losing by a dirty trick or getting jumped by the heels. Man, I feel it more in a promo here than I do in the matches and the build for matches, if that, or in a feud, you know, if that makes sense. So out comes Team Taz. They want to attack Sting, but the lights go out and Darby's by his side. Of course, he started leaving prior to this. People say, oh well, you know, some people go, how'd he get down there so cool? Well, he kind of started walking away. You've seen him start walking away.
Yeah.
So they kind of set that in motion. So that was a nice little touch that he wasn't just standing there and then just appears in a ring 3 seconds later. Which it wasn't 3 seconds, but you get what I'm saying. Taz just ends up saying, fine, you guys have the bat, the skateboard. He said, we'll live to fight another day. He says, January 6th, you got Cage versus Darby for the TNT title. I don't know personally that it makes Team Taz look weak. You know, you got these big guys and they won't go in and fight. But for me, it's more like they're holding out suspense for the build up of the whole finalization of this, or whatever is to come of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't mind it because, you know, Cage says, no, I want to fucking, you know, in lieu of that, Cage is saying, no, we'll go right now. Like, I don't want to leave. And last week we had Hobbs doing the same. So I think they're kind of adding that and Taz just being the wisdom to hold that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I see it in that terms. I don't see it as them being weak. I think it's Taz being tactical, you know? You always want to have the upper hand.
Yeah.
That's what the bad guys do. You want the upper hand. Even though you might have 4 or 5 guys, you know, but they have the bat, 2 guys, and a skateboard. You know what I mean? So, I didn't mind. I don't mind it as much. Where some people might take umbrage with it. What was your whole take on the whole promo and everything that went down?
So here's my thing, and I'm going to age myself here. Have you, when you were a kid, did you ever read like weekly adventure strips in newspapers? I guess Spider-Man is a good example, or Prince Valiant, or whatever would have you, where Monday through Friday, you would practically be having the same thing repeated over and over again from different vantage points. And then Sunday is the big day where they finally will expand it a little bit after also repeating. This thing with Sting and Taz and Darby and Shivani feels like that, where every week they've been doing this since Sting has been back. They're doing the same thing, just with different players. You've got Sting in the ring with Tony. You've got Darby in the rafters. Taz comes out. Sometimes Cody's in the ring. Sometimes he's not. Sometimes Hobbs is there. Sometimes he's not. But they're telling the same story in the same promo now for 3 weeks straight. And I kind of feel like, all right, let's get moving now. Let's do something else. Let's actually advance this. Let's graduate it. I get what they're trying to do. I get that they do have to try to build this. But I kind of wish that it felt different every week. Sting was great in the sense that, like, this was the first week where I loved him talking about Dusty Rhodes, about getting the color on his face and the impersonation, and just talking about how he's in the original Jungle again. I feel like this is all stuff he could have said in his very first interview with Shivani when he first joined the company. And he's giving more and more bits to his promo, which I feel like this is like a 3-week promo. More and more bits to why he's here, what he wants to do, which I love.
Right.
I just don't
forget he's been interrupted.
He's been interrupted. And that's the thing. He gets interrupted every week, and so he has to continue the promo.
So now he has to continue the Darby thing next week because he got interrupted.
Right. And that's what made it feel like an old adventure strip to me, or a Spider-Man strip, where every day you're reading the paper, all right, we covered this ground, but a little bit's different. I want to get to the Sunday strip. I want to get to the Sunday strip already, where they do something else with this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, we talked about this before. I would actually love to see Taz and Sting in a match. It can be a cinematic match. I know they've talked they have talked about this, that Sting wants to do cinematic style matches. And Tony Khan's kind of like, yeah, that sounds great. That's kind of what we have in mind for you. And with his situation, a cinematic match makes the most sense. I would like to see a cinematic match with Sting and Taz. I think it would be really interesting. I'd like to see how the two styles clash a bit. It would give Taz something to do in the ring again for the first time in forever. So I kind of hope that does be the thing that this builds to, at least for the time being.
Yeah. So in the chat we got Jimmy saying, "Preach it, Alan. Bill's opinion doesn't count ever since TK bought Bill out by signing Sting." He says, rapping, face palm emoji. That was obviously in reference to the Acclaimed. Kenny says, "What's the medical term for fear of baseball bats? I'm sure Taz has it." And Simon says batophobia, and Kenny says, that makes sense. And Simon says, Sting said he will do cinematic matches, so the Taz one is possible. Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I'm down for it. Where do we go? Okay, so now we get, this might be off in order, but I believe MJF heads in and speaks with Santana and Ortiz.
That's right.
Obviously Santana just lost his stepfather. Was it 2 weeks ago? Well, no, I'm sorry. It was longer than that, but he just came back a week or two ago.
Yeah.
So, again, rest in peace to his stepfather, and condolences to him as well. So I believe MJF says he just lost his grandmother as well. And they kind of bond over that. They give a dap, hug, they shakes hand with Ortiz, and Santana and Ortiz kind of walk away. My thought on this originally was, I hope that Santana and Ortiz join MJF, and they form their own little faction there.
Yep.
this could be the lead to that. Maybe they get involved in a Hager match somehow, and for Wardlow, maybe the whole plan was he sees that now Wardlow's got to fight Hager. Let me go, show, this happened to me and happened to you. Now we bond over it. Now maybe we're allies more so than we were before. And don't forget, Santana was not against the idea of having MJF. Ortiz is, what did he say? He said, "You're growing on me like a fungus."
Yes.
So
good line.
It was. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I believe I have in my notes it was his grandfather that passed away. MJF. So yeah, it's interesting to see where that takes us. What'd you feel about this? Were you in the same mind frame or?
Yeah. I mean, it was well done. And I kind of did feel the same way you did, that, MJF is trying to bond with these guys to get them over to his side and to his cause. And, I think I'm on the same page with you as far as what that's probably going to lead to, because they have to have some type of a fissure in the inner circle. And it can't just be a fissure where the whole team joins MJF and leaves Jericho. I could see this more being like setting up two different types of overall factions.
Yeah.
Maybe you get the inner circle and the outer circle.
The inner circle. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see. Simon says Sting has said, we already got that. So Jimmy says Sting is doing those matches Jesus Christ, Jimmy. You need to proofread that, pal. You're trying to make me Jimmy's trying to make me sound like I'm fucking partially retarded. Sting doing those matches.
Yes, delete the first.
Sting doing those matches was confirmed. You have to delete both is's somewhere. That's why he signed, so he can go out on his own terms, not the way WWE made him. Yeah, on the podcast, he was on Unrestricted, AEW Unrestricted. He said that he wanted to do them in WWE. They just never. He would bring it up. They never got back to him, and they said Tony basically said he was interested in doing those, and he actually said, I suggest listening to the interview. It was a good interview. He said that he's known Tony Khan for about 5 years, probably now.
Yeah.
And before that, it wasn't really about wrestling, obviously, but it was more about getting a bat sign for someone. I don't know who, but and they always kind of kept in contact slightly, and that ended up leading to him calling Tony after his contract expired and asking if he was still interested in having Sting and doing some cinematic matches. So it's a plus.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys know it's a plus for me. And Alex says, I need to know what Sting has to do with Darby sooner than later. And Jimmy says, I was just thinking that inner circle and outer circle, Alan. Please keep your WWE ideas to yourself, damn it.
I swear, if this happens and Tony does this, I'm gonna be legit convinced that they're listening to us.
But you know whose idea it'll be, right? It'll be fucking Jericho's dumb idea.
It probably would be. Yeah, it probably would be.
That WWF mindset.
Yep.
All right, Lucha Express. Did I get it right?
Did you get it right this time? Hold on. No, you didn't. It's Jurassic Express.
Motherfucker, bro.
They got to get Luchasaurus out of the Jurassic Express so that you don't get confused.
My fucking notes say Lucha Express.
I figured they would.
Oh, my God. Versus Dark Order. Go ahead and speak on it, buddy.
Yeah, versus 5 and 10, which made me laugh because 5 and 10 reminds me of the 5 and 10 store in Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
5 and Dime, where I used to go as a kid.
Ben Franklin's.
Yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good. Again, I always feel like Jungle Boy is the star of the show when it comes to these guys getting together. I'm overall not a big fan of the team itself, so I always do feel like Jungle Boy is that shining moment of it. Overall decent match. Nothing much really to say about it otherwise. I did find it interesting how you got Luchasaurus at the end. They're throwing Marco Stunt at 10, and then Cabana does the power bomb combo, which I was trying to think about what that reminded me of. I felt like I've seen that sequence before, like a WWE kind of sequence of like, I felt like I pulled it out of a different playbook. But interesting way to end it.
I was getting nervous when they throw Marco Stunt.
Yeah.
Like he'll slip or something. I'm always nervous.
Yeah. But yeah, he lived to fight another day. And yeah, not much else to say. Overall decent match. Jurassic Express does take it. And
at the end, my notes for the ending says Jurassic Express. So I got it wrong and then I got it right.
There you go.
I can't even get it right or wrong the whole way, you know. Yeah, because at the end they go to cut a promo and then up on the big screen pops Tully and FTR, and then they're cutting a promo, and they said in 2 weeks they'll wrestle them, and for me, with Tully telling Marco he better stay out of it, or he might catch a flashback to the '80s, you know. Tully giving him a little like, I might put it on you, kid, you know. I think it's hopefully it's an interesting way to keep Marco out of it, but I'm sure he won't. And then you got Marco acting like a rabid animal.
Yeah.
After that, like he's gonna do something. Come on. Even now, Tully will spike his head into the fucking ground.
Well, I thought it was funny that Tully called Jurassic Express Jurassic Park. And I thought to myself, watching that, I said, now we'll have Bill calling them Jurassic Park every week. So we'll at least break that chain.
That was another good line. I didn't take that one down, but that was another great line. It did pop me. They've obviously been building this feud for a while now, so this is going to culminate into a match, and we'll see if it goes any further than that.
Yep. January 6th.
Let's see in the chat here. I'm getting attacked by Jimmy as usual. Bill, sit down, Mark. I don't know what that's in reference to. Maybe because I said Jericho would bring some WWF bullshit. And then Kenny says, yeah, Bill, you Mark. And then Simon starts chanting in all caps, Mark, 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 Mark. Alan, should we boot Mark Bill off the podcast this week like he did to you last week?
Dude, I had to boot myself off. It was so bad. By the way, I'm going to ask live. Everything looked better now because I took Bill's suggestion and I restarted my router before we came onto the show. So hopefully everything is good.
No, your audio's been pretty choppy.
Seriously? Shit.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that sucks. My video looks okay.
Yeah, you look crystal clear there, buddy.
All right.
I see your boyish good looks. And then they got the fucking heel world order. HWO in the building, too sweet. And that's from Jimmy. And then Simon says HWO for life, baby. And Alex asks, what do you expect from Mox? I'm not sure. We'll see. Hopefully they say who attacked them. That'll be hopefully that'll come to light so we could see the next feud. And Simon says, I can't understand a word Alan is saying.
Wow. oh, that sucks.
Jim says HWO for life.
Because last week you were breaking up, and you're not breaking up at all. You're completely clear to me now. So
I think Simon might be overstating it. I think he's really fucking getting at you. But you have had some choppiness.
Okay.
But I can understand you.
All right. Better than last week.
So then we get into Kenny and Callis walking in the lobby of the hotel, and who else but Marvez is waiting there. And Callis finally, the elephant in the room says, why are you waiting for us in the hotel lobby like a creeper. Finally, it's fucking Marvez just creeping around. I thought it was great, especially considering he's been doing it outside the building,
Yeah.
Um, Kenny starts talking Phoenix, how he choked match after match. I like how he mentioned Phoenix being injury prone, and he trip over his own 2 feet. Uh, he then mentions to Don if maybe he'll get him a job at Impact, and Don says, probably not, but we could always get with Conan and maybe we get him down in AAA. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. Thought it was well done.
Yeah.
I know you kind of want to build your opponent before a match, but I don't mind this. I didn't mind this. I didn't think they needed to build Phoenix into this. I thought technically they should have had Phoenix wrestle over Pac the week before, maybe, just to get him out there and have people seeing him. But yeah, I didn't mind the tearing, or I'm sorry, tonight on that show.
Yeah.
He Pac wrestles instead of Phoenix, which should have been Phoenix. But I didn't mind him tearing him down and not really building him up, because they tore him down well. I thought it was very good, especially considering he's been injured a few times and such, and the little shots at getting him down to TNA. Nah, TNA's a little too high for him. We'll get him to AAA. Thought it was fun. What was your take on it?
I mean, it straddled the line. There's no doubt. I wouldn't say it was a burial. It did graze the line a little bit, though. I think. I think that because you're right, you are supposed to build up your opponent a little bit before. It went a little far, but it was at least done in a very entertaining way, and it didn't really appear to be done in a disrespectful way. So I was all right with it, but I agree. I think it did shroud the line a little bit. I feel like if they teetered a little bit too much, it could have gone into like a burial territory, and it's like, well, why are we having a match? And that's the point you never want to get into when you're doing a promo. So they didn't get there, but they came close a little bit. I think Callis came close.
Now they're fucking with you in the chat.
Yeah.
Simon says, what? He's doing the what chant. And then Kenny says, speak up, Alan. Simon says, where's Alan gone? Has Bill muted Alan? HWO. Yeah, these guys are fucking killers.
Yep.
All right, so then we get Butcher versus Pac. What the fuck is up with Butcher's pants? That was number one question for me.
That was
I like
really...
the tights. He had like a bit of a Shinya Hashimoto like look to it, although his pants, if I'm not mistaken, were all the way down to his feet. No clue why he changed those pants up, but it's good to see Pac back. The match is okay. I felt like there's some repetitiveness throughout it. The Butcher's not that great in the ring. As much as I love his look, he misses spots. He walks into positions that shouldn't be walked into. They should be natural looking positions. It's a lot of green. Like there's. I mean, he's an older guy, but from what I understand, he's pretty green. Which is, we see that a lot with a lot of these younger guys, is instead of automatically being like flowing into position, they put themselves in a position.
Yeah.
And that kind of takes away from the match, in my opinion. Especially when it stands out as much as it does. So at the end, you got Kingston yelling to Butcher to stop fucking around and just get the job done. Butcher's standing in the middle of the ring, just holding Pac for what seems like 10 minutes. And out comes Archer and he's walking over to confront Kingston. Kingston does the beeline, which I loved. I loved the look of it. He gets the chair, he hits the pivot behind the chair, and then he's behind the announcers, using them as a basic shield against Archer. Which is funny because he's a tough guy, but now he's kind of playing the coward heel there. So then after the match happens, you get Archer and Archer confronting Pac, and they have a couple words. I still feel like this might lead to the first ever triple threat match.
Yeah, I think
I
so
mean,
too.
it's looking that way. I don't know, just my opinion.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you wanted me to jump in with that, but yeah,
Yeah, no, jump in. Yeah.
I was disappointed with the match because, and I think you nailed it. I think it was Butcher that the reason the match didn't come off really well. Pac is
Right, of
great.
course.
I mean,
Pac is great.
Pac is fantastic, and I think this was a situation where Pac was working with whatever he could. Unfortunately, a lot of the flaws of Butcher were highlighted being in the ring with somebody like Pac. I think that for Butcher to look anywhere near decent, he's got to be in the ring with somebody who's a lot more grounded, who's a lot more maybe of a similar build, a similar style. Pac is not that at all.
Right.
And it unfortunately exposed a lot of weaknesses of Butcher for that reason, unfortunately. But I kind of like where they're going with it. I mean, if they are going to have a triple threat, I normally don't like triple threats. I feel like triple threats or fatal four ways, I feel like they're a waste of talent. They're like, well, you can't find a slot for somebody, so let's just throw them all together. But this is actually building storyline wise to a place where a triple threat would actually make sense from a storytelling capacity. So I'm okay with it.
Definitely.
I think if they're going to do their first ever one, this is certainly a good trio to use. So I'm all for it. I would say let's see it. I think that would be something that would be really entertaining.
Yeah. I think with those three guys, definitely going to be entertaining.
Yep.
All right, so we get Miro and Kip. Miro, Kip, and Penelope, they come out to announce they will have their wedding. They fake the best friends coming out with their music hitting, only to have a video play and them saying, no, this is really what happened a few minutes ago, and Trent's being carted off in an ambulance. Now, this is obviously a cover-up, worked angle that puts Trent on the sidelines. He has a torn pec, so basically they're using this to lay Trent up, and that's it. I mean, at Beach Break, February 3rd, they'll be having the wedding.
Yeah, I really hope when it's over that we get Miro out of this whole situation and get him back to being a bruiser. This is just, I think enough's enough with him.
I'm still annoyed that they named the show Beach Break on February 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
It just bothers me. It's not beach weather. It's not beach time. You know, like, I don't know. It just doesn't make fucking sense to me.
I agree.
You know.
I agree.
It just made no sense.
Yeah, it's not something, I don't know. It doesn't feel like something to look forward to. A lot of the wedding angles, throughout the years, sometimes you look forward to them, sometimes you don't, but for the most part, they're overall entertaining. I just don't feel that with this. It just doesn't. Mm-hmm. It's not something that I feel has been entertaining in all the time that they've been doing it. And it feels like a piss break thing for me when they finally do end up having it on, and I just want to see it done.
Yeah.
I want to see Miro trash the whole wedding. I want to see him lose his shit and wreck everything, and
just demolish it.
Demolish
it for Kip.
Right, demolish it for Kip. Beat the hell out of Kip. Demolish the whole set, and that would make me happy.
Simon says AEW will likely add another 12 people to the triple threat.
Oh, no doubt.
Whoa, what'd you say there, robot? Say that again? No doubt?
No doubt. Oh, did that sound bad? Oh, crap.
Oh, my God. Sounded awful. There you go. You're nice and clear right there.
Right.
You're putting out too much latency with your yelling there, pal. So we get a Jade promo. I believe it was slotted here. Again,
I was going to say some of this. The Jade promo actually came before the Penelope Ford skip, but I didn't want to interrupt you. It's cool.
Yeah, my bad. I watched these. I forgot to actually put the Jade promo in, so then I watched a couple matches back. Um, we get her with a promo saying, of course, it's convenient that Brandy's pregnant since Jade was going after her. She tells AEW and I guess Brandy they better find her a worthy opponent now.
Yeah.
I don't know what was up with Jade. Is like a couple words weren't pronounced well. Um, I don't know if she just misspoke and they just kind of left it in, but I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be frank and say she's a shit promo. I mean, she can't really. In the few times that we've seen her try to talk, it's definitely not her strong suit. It was a very jumbled promo. It did confuse me a little bit with what she was trying to say. I mean, obviously I knew what she was saying, but it did come off really, really poorly spoken. But I guess I'm curious to see who they're going to throw at her. I don't know. We haven't really seen her in a match yet, have we? She hasn't had an actual match yet. So
I look forward to it.
Yeah, like I would hope that the fact that we haven't seen a match yet, that they're going to build this to something big where they'll have someone significant go into the ring with her. I guess it's a matter of who it's going to be, because most of the really impressive women's wrestlers right now are heels. You've got Allie, you've got
who they're not even using.
You've got Britt, who's fantastic. You're not going to have a thing where Shida or one of the champions or somebody that high up is going to go up against her. So I don't know. I don't know where maybe Thunder Rosa. Maybe you have Thunder Rosa get into the ring with Cargill. The problem is that she looks imposing, but we have no idea how she's going to wrestle. We have no idea how she's going to look in the ring with somebody. So yeah, I'm really curious to see who they actually decide to put into the ring with her to try to make it into an event.
Where the fuck is Mel?
Where is Mel? Right, exactly. You know what?
I don't fucking
Boom.
know.
Mel is a perfect opponent. Mel's got the size. You could definitely see something going on there with the two of them. Yeah, that's a very good point. Where the hell is Mel? And that rhymed.
There you go. I got to check in. I got to check in on the chat because.
Okay.
Simon says, anyone else enjoy the fact that the YouTube channel now has 69 subs? I mean, that's cool, but we'd hope to have thousands.
Yeah. We'll have to do a celebration of 100.
Yeah. Kenny says, nice. And then Simon says, the AEW Uncensored show hosted by Bill and Optimus Prime.
Hey, Simon, freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Oh, man. That's great. So, we get Dustin versus Uno. Good match. I think Uno's super underrated, personally.
Oh,
yeah. Jim Ross playing that up as well. But yeah, I thought it was a good match.
Yep. Absolutely. A lot of fun.
Obviously, they're trying to play up the whole thing. We just spoke about it earlier. Dustin would be a nice addition, I think, to take over as leader. The ending where I think, what was it? Oh man, how did it play out? Uno went to shake his hand, and Dustin slapped him, I think, and then they came in to attack Dustin, and so we'll see. It is obviously going to play out over a stretch of time.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Spears promo. Good promo. He calls them the executive vice pricks, which was funny.
That was good.
Even though I don't want the EVP shit to be brought up. And he basically says, I'll be back if I feel like it. And from there, everybody's speculating, because then, the next day he was off the AEW roster page and such. So, I think it's a work. Some people, I think they're trying to use that because a lot of times, that's what people say in the WWF. They're like, oh, they're no longer on the roster page. So they know that means they're out of the company. So I think AEW's taken note of that and go, oh, well, we're going to do this as a work. And people will inherently think it's legit.
Yeah.
So I think this is a work, and they're using that. So I look forward to seeing where it's going. I think Shawn Spears can do some good things, and I think he was on the path to doing some good things with Scorpio Sky, but that's still kind of up in the air.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they tucked that in the back pocket for the time being. They haven't really done much else with it. I don't know if that's something they'll come back to, I guess, when this is over with, or maybe that's going to still become part of it. Who knows? But it's interesting. I guess we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. So Shida comes out for a promo. She's just before she gets to speak, she gets attacked by Abaddon. She's just about to go say something, and boom, Abaddon attacks her. So that leads to Shida versus Gracia. Quick match. Shida just showing off tons of fire. Her initial strikes to me look great. She's all fired up after being attacked. You get Abaddon showing up, and Shida takes her out with I think she smashed her with the kendo stick on the outside.
Yep.
Then comes back in and finishes off the match with Gracia. She then gets outside the ring, goes over to Abaddon, who's out there knocked out. She pokes her with the kendo stick. Abaddon pops up, Undertaker style, and they start brawling. And then Abaddon ends up biting Shida in the neck. And that's pretty much the end. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of this neck biting thing.
No,
everything up until that I thought was good.
Well,
but
the match itself was good. I mean, what I didn't like was, well, first of all, when Shida was doing the promo and Abaddon comes out and attacks her, it looked really awkward. They got into like a slappity fight. It was really weird. It's like Abaddon comes into the camera, and it's a very clumsy shove. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
It just felt off, and like Shida almost like lost her balance. Not like legit. Like I think she legit lost her balance because Abaddon came in so clumsily, and then they're just like slap, punch, and they get broken up. It didn't even look.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just looked very clumsy.
A lot of the women look like that when they get into these shoving matches.
That's true.
I don't really like them.
I don't either.
I hate them. Oh.
Yeah. But the biting thing was weird. I mean, it's like that's just vampire.
I get that. I like the attack on her pre-match promo.
Yeah.
That was good. I'm not saying it was exactly executed great, but I thought everything after that was executed well, minus the bite thing, because it's like the bite. Fucking come on, and she holds her thing so you can't see it. But apparently, I saw something on it, but I didn't watch it. But apparently, there's her in the back getting looked at as well. I think it was on Twitter or YouTube or something. So they're trying to play up that she got bit, and I guess I don't mind it. I mean, she plays a zombie-ish type character, so I don't mind it, but I would hope that it doesn't get too far-fetched and too in the weeds with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that now you're going to see Shida come out next time wearing makeup and she's a zombie or she's a vampire. It's just like, oh God, is that what they're doing?
They've done that makeup busted eye. They've done that's where you start to lose me. This isn't Hollywood, you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. They did something similar some months back with Shayna Baszler and Becky Lynch, where Shayna Baszler like bit Becky Lynch in the back for some reason.
I heard that she was doing that.
And she's got blood like all over her mouth, but there's barely anything on Becky Lynch. Here, you have Abaddon biting Shida. Shida looked like she had to go to the freaking hospital. Shida looked like Shida had to go to the hospital. She had like just gushing red, and it looked like red paint. It didn't even look like blood. It looked like Shida's made of paint. Like that's the big revelation, is that when you open Shida up, she has paint in her veins instead of blood. And so she's going to come back as a new character named Crayola.
Apple acrylics. It's only sold at Walmart.
Yep.
Simon says Shida now needs to turn into a zombie.
Oh, there you go.
She'll come out next week all painted up. So then we get the main event. We get Bucks versus the Acclaimed. For me, it was a really good match. The Acclaimed, for me, are ready for big time.
Yep.
There, of course, aside from how great of a match it was, there had to be the waving on of the opponent in the match. It's fucking drives me nuts. It's something that it annoys me to no end every time I see it. In every match they do it. And this match, they literally had, I don't remember exactly who it was. I think it was Caster, was on the outside rope. And the Bucks were in, and one of the Bucks waved Caster into the ring. Like, come on in the ring.
Yeah.
And he gets in the ring, but he knows they're there waiting to set him up for this move, and he does it anyway. Like, for me, it's like, let Caster make that initial move to come in on his own, because then he doesn't look like a fool that's just coming in because you said come in, and you're waving him into, like, come on, let's do this move real quick, Yeah. So it annoys me. It was a good match, though. It was a good match. I can't complain about the match, but that kind of fucking annoyed me. There was a moment in this match where Matt Jackson fakes a super kick and then hits a double DDT. I don't know if you remember that.
I did.
Moment.
That was really weird.
Now, did you think that was a shot at Jim Ross? Because he said a super kick and a DDT should be protected.
I forgot about that until you just brought that up.
Do you think he used that move, the fake super kick into a double DDT to kind of, go at Jim Ross subliminally?
Now that you bring it up, absolutely, because I thought it looked stupid. I didn't understand that. I thought perhaps what happened was that he had in mind...
I didn't think it looked stupid. I thought it looked good, personally.
Okay.
Because he ducks into the DDT. He goes for the fake super kick. He ducks, and now he's in DDT. So I thought it looked great.
Okay. I mean, I guess for me, I kind of felt like he meant to do the super kick and then thought better of it. I was like, oh, wait, no, I should do a DDT. But especially now with what you're saying, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I could see that it was that they were using that as a subtle attack at Jim Ross, because they're the ones that, they're nonstop. They don't slow down a lot. They do occasionally, but and then anytime anybody criticizes them, they attack. Like the whole 50+ demo, they had a thing they had a thing going on BTE about that, where they had skits. I don't remember the exact thing, but they would mention, oh yeah, the 50+, the 50+. They would dog it and clown it, and I understand that they're trying to be cute and this and that, but it's almost like it is kind of just a slap in the face of people who have come before and, can teach them something, and they can take it and run with it. Because you can see when they do slow down, they're fucking great.
Yeah, they do.
They're just as good as when they're 100% fast paced. You know what I mean? So I just think, like, they're a bit childish, I think, in the sense of taking the criticism from older people, and instead of accepting it or looking at it, they find ways to attack it. And I feel like that might have been an opportunity for them to do that. I personally like Nick Jackson better than I like Matt Jackson. I think Matt Jackson has a better look when he's got the full beard and the hair down. I don't like the stupid chops he has, but when he got the full beard that he has now with the hair down, I like his look. He's an awful fucking seller. He oversells. I think Nick's the better wrestler, in my opinion. I think he's cleaner. He just doesn't have the look. I think if they literally swap bodies and personalities, I think it would be great,
I think you're right. I think if you literally do swap them like in that fashion, you will have the perfect singles wrestler.
Right. It's just a shame, because it's like the Bucks have really, I've really just not been on their ride. I early on I was trying to be, and then they just keep rubbing me the wrong way with their attitude and their the way they go about things. So
yeah. Yeah, they think their shit doesn't stink because of the fact that there were these gods in the indie world. And that's not enough. I mean, you can't just rest on those types of laurels of coming from the indie world and doing what you're doing. They yeah, they rub me the wrong way. I'm kind of at the point now with the Bucks where I just don't really care to see much from them anymore, honestly, which is a shame. They have talent, there's no doubt about that. But between this thing with with Ross and this, just I don't know. They think that they're too big. They think they're too big for the business, which they have no place in thinking whatsoever.
Which they play into too, and are they playing too much into it where now they've gotten people that were on board, that are kind of on board with them, off the train? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know, like I'm starting to see, like, because I didn't follow them for a decade, you know, or two, whatever,
Me neither.
15 years. So I don't, you know, it's only the recent years that I've followed them, and it's like, okay, I'm on board, and man, it's just people talking. Maybe they're just playing it up, and then you get to the point where it's like, oh, you're playing it up a little too much, in my opinion, and you know, you're not really heeding advice, and you're not really using that advice, and you're not, you know, you're not showing people that, you know, you are more than what you are. So, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of off the train. And like you said, there's so many other great teams. Like FTR should still have the championship. They had it for a couple T there.
Yep.
You got, you know, shit. I mean, the Acclaimed, I think, are like, as fresh as they are, dude. I'd love to see the Acclaimed as champs. I think they got it, like, personally.
Yep.
I mean, man, so many other teams. I can't think of. It's funny. There's so many teams. I just, off the top, I can't come up with. Oh, Santana and Ortiz. For
yes.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Are being wasted. Being wasted. I mean, we'll see. I mean, you got the new show coming. Eventually, hopefully that'll open up some stuff for more people. We'll see. And Simon says it's great that AEW has continued to be inclusive. Anthony Bowens and Layla Hirsch, both proud LGBTQ community members. Yep, I agree. That's always good. Always good to have diversity, man. I mean,
yep.
You know, people rip AEW. Oh, well, they said they were going to be inclusive, and you know, like, where's the black wrestlers and this and that. It's like, listen, you got to give shit time too. You know, it's like,
yes,
you can't, you like, there's you know, there's like, oh, it's, you know, it's not as inclusive. You just got to give shit time, man. It doesn't happen right away. Like, there's certain people that are in a certain position, and their position is only going to get better the longer the company's in play. You know, there's people that their position was higher when they came in. They happen to maybe be white, you know?
And they also have to be mindful of it. Like, I completely agree. You need the diversity inclusion in there, especially in today's business. But then you've got to make sure that you're giving the spotlight to the right, you know, person.
Right.
Sonny Kiss is the epitome of diversity and inclusion, but Sonny Kiss happens to suck. And I don't think that Sonny Kiss sucks because of anything dealing with diversity and inclusion. I think Sonny Kiss sucks because he doesn't know how to wrestle and because his style is terrible. That has nothing to do with how I feel about diversity and inclusion. You've got other players on the field who, you know, fulfill that requirement, and they're great, and they need to get more, you know, they need to get more time, and they need to get more shine. And they're there, though, and that can happen.
Number one, the word requirement is fucking awful. It shouldn't require shit, number one.
Way, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
I know you didn't, but I'm just saying in general, it should be a merit-based scenario.
It should be merit-based. I'm the first person to listen to that.
Like you said, Sonny Kiss isn't merit-based, but obviously you're going to see. They're obviously, Scorpio Sky is one of those guys that you know he's going to be something in the company. Yep. Right now, he's in a position where there's just so much other shit going on that it's not his time to be there at that level. And you know it'll happen. It's just, again, the company needs to be around a while. They need more shows. Once they get that secondary show, they can showcase a wider variety of their people. So right now they can only showcase a certain amount of people. You know, there's a lot of people, like we're talking Santana Ortiz are being misused, Jungle Boy, the Ali. Like, these are people that need to be showcased that are not, because there's just not enough time in a show week to week. You know, so geez, I don't know. Fucking Simon getting us on inclusion here. 100%. I mean, look, I mean, like you said, Bowens and Jesus Christ,
Layla
just drew
Hirsch.
a blank. No. The Acclaimed.
Oh, sorry, that's who
Oh
he
my
was bringing
God,
up here, but yeah.
I just drew a blank. You're not gonna help me?
I also drew a blank. I'm not good with the
Come
individual
on,
names of the
dude.
Acclaimed. So hey, at least research.
Come on.
We didn't bring it up today, but you know.
I just said it. I just said his name earlier. Fucking whatever, you know. But like, like he said, right there, he's now in the main event
Max
slot,
Caster.
and Max Caster, of course. You know, fucking, I think he's great. So it's there. It's just a matter of when people are going to be in positions. You know, you got Nyla Rose, you got all kinds of different positions. Whatever. I'm not going to fucking delve into that nonsense. It's to go completely in and try to pick and prod every little piece of the show. It's crazy. So I think they're doing a fine job. I think it'll get even better as time goes on, and that's all that you could hope and expect. You know, we're down for whatever. If you're good, you're good. It doesn't matter who, what, when, where, or why you are. Uh, just show up and do the job right.
Absolutely.
That's what I like. You know, I like wrestlers who do what they make the show look good. They have good promos, stuff like that, and like fucking Sky. I've been a big fan of Sky. I mean, his promo to me was great. The one he had on Dark before he had a couple different things going on with Sean Spears, how he was going to kick in the door and such. I really liked it, and I think that was just like a taste for AEW to let him get a little bit of a shine while he's waiting, you know, for his turn in the spotlight there. And you never know. I mean, it might start out with the breaking up of SCU. I mean, that could be the lead in for him as
For
well
sure.
into something bigger. And I still am holding out hope for him and Sean Spears to continue their little feud that they had going. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know about you. I think that's the end of the show.
Yep.
Again, rest in peace to John Huber. Our condolences go out to his wife, his children, all his friends across the world and the business. You know, just a really shitty weekend after hearing that.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be missed for sure. From me, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I knew him. I knew of his characters in the WWF, but I didn't watch much of it. I did think the Wyatt family stuff was on a good track from the little bit that I did see it. Even though I didn't know much about it, I was like, that's something that like you could see people are getting behind. And you know, then when he came over and I heard him speak out of character and such on interviews, you could just see what a fucking great guy he seemed to be, and his love of his kids for sure. So sorely will be missed by me. He was one of the main guys I wanted to come over.
Yep.
In AEW. I thought he was definitely somebody that could be well above what he was in the WWE, and unfortunately, he started off there, and unfortunately won't be able to reach that pinnacle that I knew he would. But again, shout out to his family, rest in peace, and our condolences.
Absolutely.
Anything you wanna close with?
No, I completely agree. You know, rest in peace. Terrible for the family again, and you know, in the short time he was with the company, and you know, overall it was a very short time. He made a very big impact creatively, and I think again it really just speak to what everybody has been saying over the course of the last 24 hours, just all these accolades coming his way, to him as a person, and also, of course, as an entertainer, and as being very good at what he did. So it is obviously a huge loss to his family, but it is also, of course, a big loss to the business in general.
Big time. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for you guys in the chat. We love you guys as always.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Sorry we're a little more subdued on today's episode, but you know, how can you go out and you know, be overly enthusiastic when something like this happens just the night prior?
Yeah.
So, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks all.
Peace.